The movie Ted Bundy is a dramatized biography following the American serial killer's reign of terror and his capture and execution. Bundy is probably a common image when one thinks of the word psychopath. The disorder that Bundy had is antisocial behavioral disorder. Antisocial disorder is characterized by a flagrant disregard for the rules of society and a lack of concern for the welfare of others. People with antisocial personalities tend to act on impulse, doing what they want when they want it. They are typically irresponsible, treat others callously, and take advantage of others for their own personal gain. They may engage in criminal behaviors and tend to lack remorse for their misdeeds or mistreatment of others. They appear to be untroubled by anxiety or undeterred from antisocial behavior by the threat of punishment or even by punishment itself. They may display a high level of intelligence and a superficial charm that attracts others. Bundy exemplifies all of these characteristics to a T. In the beginning of the movie, Bundy is seen masturbating in his car in front of girls he has seen. He has a smile on his face, showing he feels no shame or regard for the rules of society that would deter others from this kind of behavior. The movie goes on to show Bundy going through a various number of thefts, many of which are quick and impulsive. Bundy is taking what he wants without concern of punishment. Another scene shows Bundy in a bar, staring at women. When he finds one he likes, he either doesn't notice or doesn't care that she is uncomfortable and doesn't want to dance with him, and makes her do it anyway. In the next scene, he is seen following the girl back to her home, where he stands in the bushes and watches her undress through a window, then begins to masturbate. This blatant harassment, stalking, and lewd act are all signs of Bundy's total lack of concern with the rules of society or the welfare of others. In another scene, Bundy is caught outside the woman's window and drives away angrily. Bundy then notices a woman on the side of the road and begins to tail her. He hits her and takes her purse, leaving the woman screaming and crying where he hit her. As he goes on driving, he begins to laugh. Bundy is angry about being caught masturbating outside the woman's window rather than afraid or ashamed. To make himself feel better, he hits and steals from a woman just because he saw her on the side of the road. This displays his irresponsible and impulsive behavior and cold treatment of others. Farther along the movie, Bundy enters a house, finding a woman lying in her bed. He hits her over the head, knocking her unconscious. Then he climbs on top of her, handcuffs her to the bed, and begins punching her repeatedly. This is where Bundy's aggressive and criminal behavior spikes. He breaks into the house of a stranger and brutally assaults her. He doesn't care about anything but his own wants and doesn't see anything wrong with this. In the next scene, Bundy breaks into a woman's apartment, wakes her up, and tells her that if she cooperates, everything will be okay. Then he punches her and tells her, "I just broke into your apartment. Why would you believe me?" He carries the woman out to his car in front of a group of people, not caring who sees him. To break into an apartment, beat a woman, and then kidnap her in front of an audience show complete disregard for any consequences that could come out of his actions. Bundy goes on to trick, rape, and murder multiple women. He tricks them by faking a broken arm or illness, knocking them unconscious, raping them, and beating them or choking them to death. He has no regard for the law, the victims, or his own conscience. He seems to be enjoying himself, even having cheerful music playing throughout the killing spree. One of Bundy's victims escapes him, and instead of being fearful that he will be caught, he is angry with himself, thinking he could have carried out his plan better and succeeded in killing the victim. Again, his thought process gives no regard for anything but himself. Bundy reveals further in the movie that he was an illegitimate child, and until he was 5 years old, he was told his mother was his sister and that his real father was gone. Bundy's broken childhood could have contributed to his disorder. Studies have shown that children who experience trauma, an absent parent, and deprivation from any significant emotional bond with parents can lead to the development of antisocial behavioral disorder. The movie portrays Bundy having a disregard for the rules of society, the welfare of others, and threat of punishment. Bundy was responsible for the murder of over 30 women and hundreds of rapes. He was regarded by many as handsome and charismatic, traits he exploited to gain the trust of his victims. He was also known to revisit the bodies of his victims after murdering them and performing sexual acts with their decomposing corpses. He decapitated at least 12 of his victims and kept some of the severed heads in his apartment for a period of time as mementos. Biographer Anne Rule described Bundy as a sadistic sociopath who took pleasure from another human's pain and the control he had over his victims to the point of death and even after. The movie gives an accurate portrayal of Bundy's antisocial behavior through these examples.